Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have the pleasure of sitting down with our next council person that recently came off council, Mr. Nick Woodson. Nick, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Alton. I appreciate you having me. I guess this will be my last show, but I appreciate it.
Not by a long shot. By all means, we definitely want to have you come back and just kind of keep us informed, because I know that you'll be knowing a lot of the things that are going on in and around our community as well. But Nick, let's talk about 20 years on the City of LaGrange City Council. Talk a little bit about that, first of all, if you don't mind.
Well, I guess I'm kind of like most people. Never thought about running for city council. I mean, it just didn't cross my mind. And I had Gene Woodall as mayor at that time, and Bobby Traylor was on the council. They were both in my Sunday school class. And they said, well, why don't you run? I said, no, I don't want to run for city council. Oh, come on, you need to run. I said, well, you know, we can use some extra help on here. And another fellow had already announced he was going to run. I said, well, I don't want to run against anybody. And so I thought about it a little while, and I went to work one day, and my son kept getting in front of me, and I'd move, and he'd get in front of me again. He had on the shirt, just said, Nick Woodson for City Council. And I said, where'd you get that thing? So somebody else had given it to him, trying to get me to run. And so, in the past, my father-in-law had been city councilman for 10 years ago. He was on there with Mr. Gore and several of those. And so I thought about it a while. I said, well, you know, I'll try. But I'm like most people. I had never really been to a city council meeting. I read the paper and see what's going on, but it's like our council meeting now, except for last night. You can look out there in the audience, and there's two people about every time, unless there's something controversial going on. And so I decided I'd give it a try. And well, I ran, and I knocked on every door in my district. I mean, I was young enough then that I could go door to door. And so I was lucky enough to get elected, and I've really enjoyed it ever since. I really have. People say, how do you like that? So people complaining all the time. Well, that's not true. That's not true. They have concerns, and if you just give them, answer them, give them a good question until I get back with you, and really get back with them. That's right. That's what it's all about, I think. So.
And you talked about, you know, you made a comment there that I think is just kind of indicative of just most citizens. Most of the people never come to a city council meeting, never really get involved and know what the city council does. And like you said, unless there's something that kind of a heated, controversial issue that comes up. If there was somebody who was watching, I want you to think about it, because I'm going to pose this question later on. If there was somebody who was watching and was doing just like you said, never got involved, I want you to think about what words would you give them, encouragement and stuff, okay? But I want to ask, looking like I asked Norma, talk about some of the high points for you as a city council person.
Well, of course, I think it's the very first vote we ever took. Of course, Jeff Lucan was the mayor, great mayor. And his idea to start with was he became mayor. That was the first year he was mayor, was to do away with the city property tax. And Tom Hall wasn't a great man, but he really wasn't in favor of doing away with property tax. But Jeff talked him into it, and we voted for it, and it was unanimous to vote for it. And over the years, it's worked out fine. We've got so many enterprises, we don't need the taxes. And of course, everybody hates taxes. They don't hate the enterprises that the city has, you know, because they do such a good job, but nobody likes taxes. And so it's worked out very well. We've been in the black for years and years, and our city staff just runs everything very professional, so we don't have any problem with that.
Absolutely. And you know, talking about no taxes, because a lot of times people always say, well, my taxes pay your salary, da da da. If there's some, you know, information, a lot of times, you know, you're there at City Hall, you come in, I think you start out on the first floor, you gather information. Talk about, if just for the average citizen, if they're, you know, they never get involved, if they have a question about something, how open door policy are we, in your opinion?
Well, a lot of times if they call city halls, they will say, well, you know, we will check on this. And sometimes they're better now. Sometimes they're bad about it. They might find out something, but they don't get back in touch. You might call one time and nobody answers the phone. But when somebody calls me, I return the call right away. They leave a message and I return the call, and they say, well, I'm surprised you called me back. I said, you shouldn't be surprised. Well, I hate to bother you, but I said, but you're not bothering me. That's what I'm here for. And so they tell me what it is. If it's something I got to go look at, I'll go out to the house and look at it, or some business and look at it. And then I go to City Hall, and I myself don't really get the job done, but I talk to a staff member that's really in charge of it and knows what to do. And I keep insisting that they let me know what's going on, and they do. They always do. And so then I call the person back if I can't get anything done. I say, well, I'm sorry, the policy doesn't cover private property and things like that, and we can't do anything about it. But sometimes I said, well, they'll be out next week to fix this problem, and most of the time I never hear from them again. If you didn't call them back, you would probably hear from them through the third party or something, which you don't want to do that.
That's for sure.
So I've always tried to do that, and you go to Walmart, you go to church, and you go now. Staying at the doctor's office, you see all these people, and they'll ask you a question, because after 20 years, and of course I grew up here, and so most people recognize me, and so and you learn a lot at church,
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and just in that general public,
right?
Once they know that you're that council person, and we do have the two districts, District 1, District 2, but it's unfortunate that we do have it that way. But
I don't.
I was going to say
I don't.
But if you're a council person, you're
I
citywide.
probably get as many calls from District 2 as I do in my own district, and they do have a lot of concerns, and I always get back to them. I mean, I said, if I take a vote, I'm not voting. It's a District 1 vote. Well, I'm going to vote this way. District 2. Well, I'm not voting. When I vote for the whole city. It doesn't make no where you live. And so I've tried to keep that in mind all year. We've never always agreed, but probably over 20 years, probably 5 or 6 times it's been split. But most of the time we always agree. We're not always 100% for what the idea is, but it's you got to compromise, give and take a little bit, and it's worked out over the years, I think.
Absolutely. In talking about getting back to the constituents and to the citizens of LaGrange, that is so important, and in getting that information. And I wanted to ask the question to you, like we just sworn in last week, we swore in two council persons. What words of encouragement would you give them?
Well, the first thing is, if you'll always be honest about something, you don't have to worry about what you said, because it's always the same answer. And be in the community, know the people. When they call you, get involved with them, go see them, go check on their problems, and just always get them an answer. It's not always going to be the right answer they want to hear, but they'll appreciate it if you will give them an answer. Return the calls, they just always seem to appreciate it, and they say, well, I hate to bother you. I said, well, it's not bother me. That's my job.
That's right. That's right.
So that's we vote on policies and we vote on zoning, but we don't do the enforcement. All the staff and the police and the fire, they do the enforcement, and if you talk to them and they take care of your problems. You really don't have any. You don't have any problems yourself.
That's right. That's right. And then talking about laws, zoning, various things of that nature. And you guys are the ones that, like you say, we bring it to you all, and you all vote on it, and then we are the ones that kind of carry it out. Is there anything, when we talk about those various things, I just wanted to ask a question. Over your 20 years there, some of the high points, and then Norma had her ears, the great wolf lies there. Talk about that, and what's that going to mean to our community?
Well, it's going to mean a great deal. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we don't know about yet, that I'm sure is coming forward. I keep hearing rumors, and I believe things when I see something really happening. Of course, I'm not going to take credit for Great Wolf. Tom Hall is the credit for Great Wolf. Everything he did, 99% of the time I agreed with him. And so he's big into that, and worked out a great deal. I mean, did we have to pay a little bit? Well, you have to give some concession, but it's going to double, more than double over the years paying back. So
that's right.
That's going to be great. And of course, I didn't actually sit on the well, they were deciding what they were going to do. But when you got Tom sitting there, and then Kia, I'd love to take credit for Kia. Well, there was a lot of great people that worked on that. So there's no one individual did anything. And as far as city council, we just agree that that's a great idea, and we'll go along with it, you know. But we don't sit down on these when they're trying to figure out what they want to do and how much they want to give and how much the state's going to take care of, so you know, it just works out. It really does. And there'll be some more stuff. Of course, the Century Tire coming. That's right. Scott's doing a great job on that, and he's kind of in charge of most of that now. So I have a feeling that I'm going to leave. They're not even going to notice I've been gone. It'll just go on just like it always was.
Well, I can tell you, it's not going to be the same without you coming into City Hall. I'm not saying that you're not going to be coming anyway, but we've gotten accustomed to you coming in, getting information so that you could get it back to your constituents, you know, factual information. And you're talking about that. Words of encouragement, you know, to the new council persons. If there was somebody that was sitting there, like you said, you know, Bobby came to you, and your father-in-law served on city council years ago with Dr. Gore's father. If there was somebody that was watching, just kind of sitting there and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved with city. They're going to do what they want to do." What words of encouragement would you give them?
Well, a lot of people I've talked to that's been in the office, they'll say, well, I had all these calls, I had so many calls and this. You don't have that many calls. I would say, you know, get involved. You know what's going on. It's not just what's in the paper. A lot of times the paper might miss it just a little bit. But you get involved and you know what's going on, and it's more interesting to you when you start finding what's really going on instead of, you know, you might read a little headline, something may be coming or something. You know, like the Hobby Lobby, I've been denying that for about a year or two there for a while. No, I don't know nothing about it. Well, of course I did, you know something, but these industries and commercial accounts and all that come in, they want to keep this stuff secret until they want to make their own announcement.
That's right.
And so we have to do that. I guess that's, you know, I always heard before I got there secrets in City Hall, and I guess that's what some of the secrets are. Other than that, there's no bad secrets in City Hall.
That's right. That's right. Well, Nick, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for the 20 years that you've given of yourself and your time. Not only yourself, but your spouse as well. Joan has been by your side all this time throughout those 20 years. And your family as well. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for your service to the citizens of LaGrange.
Well, thank you. I've really enjoyed it. And if your spouse is not in with you on this, don't run. Don't run. Because she's got to be behind you all the way, and Joan has been behind me all the way. And,
absolutely.
When I was trying to make a decision whether to run or not, she said, I'm not going to tell you to run. And then when I got ready to make the decision not to run again, she said, well, that's up to you. You do what you want to do. And so we've already worked together for over 58 years, so I think we're going to make it. So
you can make it now. That's right. Yeah. Well, Nick, once again, I just want to take this time to say thank you for your years of service.
Thank you. Enjoy working with you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.